All right, folks, welcome back. We have a wonderful honor today to have Miss Randy Marie Penny from MARIS with us. She's going to give you an overview of MARIS, Matrix, MLS, the whole nine, and she's going to dig in a little bit and show you at the end how to do a CMA so that you have a working knowledge of how to do one. So, Randy, off to you. I'm getting ready to make you the host so that you can share your screen and do all the things that you want to do.
Awesome.
There you go.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. And let me put on my little screen here. So yes, everyone, good morning or good afternoon. I guess we're at officially now today. My name again is Randy Marie Penny. I am with MARIS. And I don't know if, I guess I should admit some of these people too. I am here to outline to you the MLS, to show you in depth on the CMAs. There are 7 CMAs in Matrix or MARIS, so we'll kind of go over each one, but I want this to be about what you guys want to learn. So I know most of you are newer. I see Sheila, she's not newer. Hello, Sheila. But yeah, so feel free to interrupt at any time, ask questions, chat questions, however it's easiest for you. I will start in Matrix. Well, no, I'm going to start on products page. So as we go through, we'll start in Matrix. That's where kind of the majority of the information lives. You have to put your listings in Matrix. From there, they feed out to all these other sites that you can use. We have CMAs in Matrix, CMAs in Remine, CMAs in HomeSnap, CMAs in RPR, and CMAs in Realist. So there's a bunch of CMAs in there, but we will go through the ones specifically in Matrix, and then I'll show you each of the other ones also, but we'll kind of delve more in depth into the Matrix piece. So I'm going to launch Matrix, or it's already launched here in the background. For the newer members, one thing you want to know right off the bat is you don't have to start every search with a Missouri name on your search screen. So when you do a market watch, it's very easy to customize that. So I can just click on this little button here in the corner, set this to Illinois and save it. I can go further and do counties and cities if I wanted to, but that's going to help me so that when I look at this market watch, it's really my area. Right? Now, if you're on both sides of the river, keep both sides, that's fine. But if you're not, you really want that to be designated for what you want to look at. Also, same thing with a search page. So if I go into search residential detail, I don't want that Missouri chosen all the time. I want Illinois. So I'm going to highlight Illinois, click on the gray gear, and set that as my starting default. That way I don't have to keep every time I'm doing a search clicking on Illinois, because I don't know how many times I've gone in there to do a search and all of a sudden I can't get any results, and I'm wondering why, and it's because I didn't click Illinois. So yes, I know someone answered it. A CMA is a comparative or comparable market analysis. So basically you're taking the market and what is sold around that property to determine the value of that home, whether it be to sell it for a listing price or whether it be as a buyer, so that the buyers have a good range of what they can offer within the market value that they have. So let's start with a couple searches. So let's just do a sold search. And I don't know if anybody has one, or I'll look for one. Anybody got a really good subject property that they want to go with?
Yes, ma'am. 710 Park Avenue, Belleville, Illinois. Right, Blake?
That's right.
All right, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it when we go to the next program. All right. So I'm going to do my search here, and I'm going to do a residential detail. Now, as a newer agent, you're saying, well, what's the difference between a quick or a detail? There's not a lot of difference except what comes at the bottom of your screen. So the ability to search for an address, search for more than one address at a time, the ability to look at amenities or basements, search through marketing remarks. Additional fields are on both. But when we're talking about just doing a search for a comp, both of them are going to give us this top part of the screen. So in this little box here is where I'm going to add my subject property's address. So that's 710 Park Avenue, We'll see if it'll find it. There we go. Sometimes you have to give it kind of a city or a zip code just so that it really can get to where it needs to be in case there's multiple across the map, the footprint. But then I'm going to be able to do a radius around that. Of course, for CMAs, we try to keep it under a mile. The system starts with a quarter, goes to a half or 1. So it's up to kind of what you're looking for. We can always start with a quarter. And then we're going to go in and pick our statuses. We, of course, want our closed statuses. Generally, you can start with 180 or 6 months back if you want to. You can do 365, whatever in your area is going to give you the best kind of data. And there is, depending on how you want to do it, how Keller Williams wants you to do it, some good pieces in adding other statuses. So knowing what's pending on the market is going to tell you what's kind of up against it so that you know where the market is currently sitting. Whereas if you look at expireds, maybe those are ones that have priced out of the marketplace right now. So we know that those aren't where they should have been, possibly. Okay, you just want to tell your story as to why right now that property is worth what it says it's worth. Okay. So you can go through and pick some there. I recently heard a survey through Cloud CMA, and they did a survey asking agents how many comps they used in a CMA. And the survey came back with anywhere from 5 to 12. I think 12 is a lot, but I guess that depends on what property you have. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. But again, it's really what story you want to tell and what makes it look like that. Actually, someone mentioned I'm on lease. I'm on sale or auction. It looks grayed out, but these are actually the ones that are chosen in the system. So you'll see this is Illinois. All right, so I did pick sale just so that we can make sure that's there. I've got my closed, I've got my map search in Illinois. I could go further. I could narrow it down so I know I'm getting the correct number of bedrooms, the correct number of bathrooms, or we can also do that on the results page. So while I'm here, a couple other tips, especially for new members. More than one, you want to hold down the control key. Okay, to unchoose or unselect, I can hold down control and click those again. If you're on a Mac, it's always the command key. When you're here with active under contract, there are with kickout or no kickout options. So you can narrow those down for your clients. And with coming soon, same difference with showings. Do you want to only show them ones that are being shown? Do you not want to? Okay. So if you guys have any questions on this page, feel free to ask those. We don't have to move right through the CMA right now, but that's where I'm headed next. All right. So I'm going to jump over to the results page. And here are all the results that the system found for me in that area. Now, because you guys really want to look at all of these, right? You want to look at the bedrooms, the bathrooms. Sometimes you want to look at the kitchens, the basements. You want to really compare these properties. So the single line doesn't always have what you want it to, but we can adjust it, okay? So that you don't have to go through every single one, click on the detail display, scroll through to find whatever piece of information you're looking at, and then go to the next one. We want to make that very quick and simple. On my single line display, I can add a column. So if I hover out to the end of any column heading, you'll see my cursor change to a 4-sided arrow. So I can click and insert a column. Now in Illinois, you could also remove, so if you don't want municipality or township, you don't want a specific, you don't want just the above grade square footage, maybe you want the total, you don't want lot size. So it's up to kind of what you're looking for. I'm going to insert basement description so that we can see what that looks like. So you can go through and say, and really look and delve into, oh, this is similar, this is similar, this is not. Okay. Now you can also move these around. So if you want to bring the price all the way over here, maybe your bedrooms and bathrooms, however it works best for you so that you're getting that full look and an easy look at what you want to see. Because in that criteria, I had you add your subject up here, The result is giving us a distance from our subject property. So if you want to sort that, you can. By clicking on the word distance, that will sort it closest to furthest. If I sort it again, it will sort it the opposite direction. So if I scroll through these, maybe I want to stick with some of these. I'm going to go with price range instead. Right? Now, you, of course, are going to do a much better look at this. So I'm going to stick maybe, I don't know for sure, maybe this is a 3-bedroom. So I found three bedrooms here. I'm going to take these. Ooh, maybe I don't want that 92, right? So we're going to take these 4. Now, again, what you choose, the number you choose is completely up to you and the story you're telling, how much that's going to show you know that market and that house that you're looking at. I've got my 4, and from there I have 2 options. There's a very quick and simple CMA in the print button. So this one, all you have to do is open it up. We're going to scroll through all these things that I've created. We're going to go to CMA 1 line, and I'm going to hold down Control and do 3-up comparison report. So those will give me the very quick and simple CMA. So I'm going to go ahead and print those to PDF so you can see them. Might need to change my share screen. 1 second. Okay, so right now in front of you, you should be seeing the CMA 1 line. So this is just a quick look at all the stats on the properties. They all have 3 bedrooms. They all have 2 except for this 4th one. They've all got their square footage. They've got their low, median, high. Then the second page is a side-by-side look at each of those comps so that I can sit down with my client. We can discuss, hey, here's the differences, here's the similarities, where we think this is in comparison to your property. All right. So before I get too far down the rabbit hole on the next one, any questions on what we've gone over so far? Everybody's being quiet. Okay. All right. When you're doing these, because you are on the Illinois side, we have one CMA 1 line specific to Illinois. Not specific to, but because of Illinois. The CMA 1 line comes with a price per square footage. And that price per square footage through MARIS or matrix is determined by above grade square footage only. On the Illinois side, they weren't a big fan of that being only above grade square footage because sometimes there is value given to that lower level. So if you want to remove that piece, there is a CMA 1 line without the price per square footage on that page. So that is available to you guys as well. All right, so that's our quick and simple. Just print it, run with it. Enter it into your listing presentation you've already got set through Keller Williams. Take it to your buyers because I really don't need a super in-depth. I'm just trying to show you where you might price it. Or you can go full kind of CMA presentation, which would be in the button right next to that. And that's just the CMA option here. So in this case, we're going to go start to finish and build our presentation. The first page, as soon as you hit CMA, we're saving it for you. We know you want to maybe look back at those. So we've gone through my matrix CMAs and it's holding there. The first start page is saying, hey, do you want to name it something? How do you want to look back on this? So if you don't do anything on this page, it will call it an unnamed CMA and just kind of give it a date and timestamp. But we want to make sure that we know what we're looking back at. So we're just going to put maybe the subject property in the description. Or maybe we're going to add it to a select contact. These do save for 180 days, and then they automatically delete. If you open them back up in the My Matrix CMAs, you can save them again, and they will re-up for another 180 days. But that's a little cumbersome, so we tell people it's probably easier to just keep a PDF of it somewhere so that you don't have to look back on it. Next, you have your pages, and these are just what you decide you want. So I'm going to get rid of all these because you'll notice that these are currently all available and now they're not. What they're there for is the page that you build them for. So if I click on cover and do cover sheet, that's going to open up some of these tabs because they're necessary to fill out that page. So if there's one you don't have and it's because you didn't want that page, just breeze on past it. You don't have to worry about that one. I'm going to put everything in here so you guys can see kind of what they look like. Okay. Once you do get these set, now when we get to RPR, you'll notice that every time you add a page, you can click on a little eye that tells you exactly what that page looks like. In Matrix, they don't have that capability. So if you want, generally what I say is the first time to add every single page in there, when we get to finish, you can look at it, decide the ones you really want in your presentation, and then we can always jump back to this pages and remove what we don't want. Okay. One of the other things you can do, if Keller Williams has some great page that you just absolutely want in every CMA you do, maybe those are testimonials, maybe it's a cover sheet specific, whatever those could be. If you go to manage custom pages, you can add those so that they stay in Matrix. So no matter where you are on your cell phone, which is a little hard to use on Matrix, but no matter where you're accessing Matrix, that page would be available to you. Once you get your pages all set, we're going to set those as a default, and then we're going to move over to our subject. The subject property, again, that's the property we're pricing. So we're going to put that in one of three ways. We can either type everything in manually, we can fill from a listing that was previously in the system for that MLS number, or we can go out and search for it. So I'm just going to fill it in manually. And this page, you really just want to fill in based off what you want your client to see on your CMA. Okay. So add your street number, your name, your suffix, and then the information at the bottom. If you're talking about adjustments, and this is especially for newer agent, this is kind of a weird one to discuss, not weird, but difficult, because in your comp, when you have a subject property that doesn't match your comparables, some people will do an adjustment value to make it match. Those are not values we can give you. So I would send you back to Keller Williams. I would send you back to a builder, you know, or an appraiser, which some of them won't be able to give you that value based off their licensing information. But we'll kind of go through what those look like. So if I have the ability to adjust and I want to adjust, then I can add custom fields to do adjustments by. Okay, and we'll kind of talk about those a little bit in a little while. You do want to map your location, and you can add your subject property photo. Next few are pretty simple. We're just going to look at the details, right? Where's my subject photo? Where's my agent information? Is it look correct? Of course, you won't have a cartoon as your photo. You're going to have your beautiful smiling face on there, but then you'll have your contact information. Your comps, we already searched for those, right? We did that on the first page. So the only reason you need this is if you're going to say, man, I looked at 409 Portland Avenue and it's just not going to fit what I need it to. So I'm going to remove that one. And then I want to go back to my search to find a new comp. Okay, so you can kind of do it that way. Hopefully you already picked the perfect comp, so it won't matter. The mapping piece is just a quick look at where each of those sit on the map. Remember, I told you in subject, you want to map your location. Otherwise, that's what you get this lovely little triangle for. This says I don't know where to put it. So let me know where to put it by going back to subject. All right, adjustments. So this is the fun one. So my bedrooms all match. Wonderful, right? If my bathrooms are a big deal in that area and I need to adjust for those, then the fact that there's a 3, I'm going to need to make that match my subject property. Okay, so if I know that a bathroom is worth $10,000, I can put in, well, I need to reduce this by $10,000 to match my subject property. Okay, I'm taking away the value of that extra bathroom to make it correlate to my subject. Okay. And that will adjust your pricing. Now, again, agents are kind of split on this. Some don't want to touch that. They don't want to deal with the adjustment values. Some love it and do it all the time. I'll leave that up to you and your brokerage as to what you do with that piece. At the very end, these are the ones we've added ourselves. So you have two available options. You can pull from things in the MLS that you might want to adjust by that weren't on the screen, or you can create your own label and adjust by that. I've heard over the years, people want the direction of how the house is facing, and sometimes you have waterfront or different views of things. So it's kind of all up to that property that you're looking at. Okay. From there, we go to pricing, and it gives you the low, median, high, average. Again, this is one that's kind of up to you. Do you walk in with a price range right there for the agent to, or client to see, or do you kind of walk them through it and into a price range? That's up to you. You can, though, if you have a pricing recommendation, mercy, I think you should list for this, and here is why. Okay, so you can use that page if you want to. Then you're going to finish it. You're going to view it. Let me share that differently as soon as that pops up here. Okay, so you should be seeing another report in front of you. It doesn't have a picture available. Yours, of course, would look gorgeous with your beautiful subject property photo that you took. It's got all the information on the cover sheet. It goes through the adjustments based off of your subject property and looking at all the comps. Okay. It gives you a portrait report. It gives you pricing recommendations. Again, these are all specific to what you pull into the system. All right, so tell me what questions you have already on the CMA. I know there's got to be something that you're questioning, or maybe not. What are your questions on the CMA so far? Everybody doing good? All righty. Well, I'm going to show you a couple other ones then. I want to see if I can open. Okay, well, this is not the right one, but maybe that one wasn't in there yet. So this is, say that this was 710 Park Avenue. Realist has a CMA as well. And when we're talking about this, we do have 7 CMAs. They're each kind of good in their own way. Some of them are very quick, like we saw the difference between a print CMA and a full CMA wizard. Whereas, yeah, so some are just going to be very quick, some are going to be really in depth. This realist one is another one that's very quick and simple, and you just pull it and you can use it to really agree with the other CMA you did or give greater value to the price range you chose. If it was already in the MLS, I can just click open that MLS number and click on the TX button. That's going to give me the tax data, but it's also going to give me access to the comps in the system. So I'm going to click on comparables. And Realist takes a little bit of a minute to open up there. It's got a lot of data. It's going to give me the comps there as well. So then I can move forward and create a report at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully, I don't know if you all see the faces, but there's a little generate report screen in the bottom right-hand corner that will give me a very quick and simple report that I can print off. It's got all my comps chosen. It's got my subject property information. So I'm just going to add that into my report as an extra piece of value. And Realist, for those of you who are brand new, Realist is the tax and county records. So in Matrix are all of the listings that have been entered by all the agents from 1998 forward. In the Illinois area, I believe it began in 2005. I think that's where Sir MLS started. So any listing that's been entered in the MLSs will be in Matrix. Realist is going to have every property because they're tax and county records. So that will pull from that county record set. All right, and before we jump out of Matrix, any questions that you guys have that are brand new on how you search things, how you look at things, input anything in the system? No? Okay. All right, so I'm going to do Remind, then I'm going to do Home Snap, and then we'll open up RPR, and that should get us pretty close. So Remind is a system. When you input your listings into Matrix, they flow to all these different products that we have. Two of those products are Matrix and Home Snap. They both have CMAs. They both have the ability to invite your client into the app with you so they can do their own searching. They both have the ability to search. Remind has the ability to help you create a mailing list that you would then send postcards out with. So we'll get into the CMA in just a second, but I did just have a call yesterday. They allow you to also print holiday cards straight from here. So one of the things they mentioned was, hey, you've just got a listing. You want to tell everybody in the neighborhood around you about it. Send a quick holiday card. You know, happy holidays. I'm listing this property. Maybe I'll see you in the neighborhood doing our open house, whatever it could be. But they do a lot of that type of marketing piece. So let's go though. We've opened up Remind. Let's go to the search page. And these navigation tools are going to stay with you. So on the left-hand side, we'll go to 710 Park Avenue. There it is. There in Belleville. You have two options. I can open up the property details, or I can put that property on a map. So I'm going to open up the property details so I can get to that CMA pretty quickly. Here I am. So before I get into the CMA, because this is the first time maybe I've ever looked at this property, they just called me for a presentation. I want to do some digging, right? I want to look at the public records detail. I want to see if this is an absentee owner. I can see what the most recent tax information is. Through Remind, they give you the most recent mortgage information as well. That also builds their net equity estimate. You can kind of look through those. You can see valuations in schools and demographics and the property history and the mortgage history. You can also see for off-market properties, the associated people with that household. And this runs through mailing records. So they know that recently, Ellen and Joanne have received mail at this location. They also know that these are the phone numbers associated with the two people in that home or the two people who've been in that home recently. And that one of those is on the do not call list, one of those phone numbers for each. So I could reach out to this number, but not to this. But that also gives me kind of a look at maybe a bigger part of the story for this property. I could also add these to my contacts. So I can always send an email, send cards to any of the people on this list also. But if we're going to go into the CMA directly, that's kind of in the middle of your screen, and it's the fourth option here called CMA. When you click on it, it gives you two options. The first is Remind CMA 360. That is free and included with your MARIS membership. So that one's the one we're going to go to today. Cloud CMA is a paid-for product outside of the system, but if you do use Cloud, you can always open it up through here also. This is a very quick and simple 1, 2, 3, 4. They have the comps criteria page. So again, we're going to go out and search for properties that are similar to our subject property. We're going to add in a range of bedrooms and bathrooms. They pick a pretty crazy range on bathrooms, so you might adjust those values when you're in here. And then you want to kind of scroll through the other options. The one you really want to get down to is this listing information, because we need to open our statuses. right? We want closed on MLS. And with our Remind Pro, we have closed off MLS. So if there's tax record sales that we want to look at, we can bring those in. We can do our sold time frame. It goes back automatically 6 months, but if we know there's not enough data, we can always go back a year, and we can change our distance in there as well. So I'm just going to hit search. And now here are my 8 properties. They are all on MLS, so we don't have any tax record sales here. The really nice part about this is that when you click on any of these, they're going to open up their own screen. So I'm not going to lose this list in the background. It's just going to open it up and show me that property. So I can take a look, see if that's going to match my subject property or not. It looks like this one's probably a rental. So I'm going to get rid of that one and go back. So in this case, what I want to do now, I wonder if that's on. Interesting. Anyway, so I can remove whichever ones I don't want and go through and continue that with each of the properties that I've got on this list. Okay, so I can really dig into each individual one. Once I've done all of that work and looked through every property and decided whether to remove it or not, then I'm going to go up to the top of the screen to save and continue. And then all I have to do is complete my color scheme, right? Because it's already building the report for me. So it's just asking for what I want on there. So it's got your logo. If the logo is the kind of overall corporate one and you want your own, you just want to upload your company logo one time, add your agent photo. It should pull, but just in case, you might have to add your own. Will hold after the first time you've added it. And then you can save and continue. It's going to build right there in front of you. So this is the really kind of cool piece with Remind and HomeSnap is both of the CMAs can be done on your phone. So you don't have to be at the office in front of your laptop. You can just build it right there. That also notes though that they're very much quicker CMAs. You know, ones where, hey, I'm standing in Starbucks, somebody asked me the value of my home. I'm going to give them this quick one I got on Remind and tell them, here's an estimate, but I really want to get back to my office and do a deeper dive into these properties and give you something really more robust. So that's kind of up to you how you use each of those, but this is what it looks like. And then you can just print it in the top corner. So you'll see the market value range, the list sold differences, average days on market, demographics for the area that they're in. These valuations pull automatically. But I know that not everybody wants those valuations. So when you hit print, you have the ability to remove those from your CMA. Okay. And last but certainly not least is a look at all the comps. Now, when you see it on your computer, it doesn't have a picture here yet. The minute you print it, it goes out and pulls all the Google Street Views of those properties so that you have those property photos there. Okay. So don't worry, when you actually print the report, it does look very nice and it's very easy to use. All right, so that is kind of the Remind, very quick one. While I'm here in Remind, does anybody have questions on Remind? Does anybody have questions on the CMA and Remind? Okay, jump out of here. Okay, so we talked about the matrix, quick print, full CMA wizard. We talked about the quick Remind one. We've also got the quick HomeSnap one. So when I launch HomeSnap, and this one is definitely a mobile app on your phone as well, I'm going to do a similar process. You guys are going to be pretty used to how to actually set up a property in here. 710 Park Avenue. Here's my information. When I log in, there's Send a Rapid CMA. Okay. One quick thing to note with HomeSnap, if you download it on your phone and don't log in as a realtor, that will not be available to you. You have to log into your real estate version of HomeSnap. Otherwise, you won't ever see any of the information. So just be aware of that piece in case you don't see it, that you just need to log in. Simple steps, follow those across. Again, you can do these on your phone. You look at the facts, make sure they're correct. I know this is not, but I don't have them sitting in front of me. So let me just do a 2 and a 2, and then I'm going to hit next. I'm going to find some similar listings, noting that if I click on them, they'll open their own page so that I can look through all the details and select the ones I want. Okay. Sorry, I didn't move you that way. One second. All right, I'm going to go next. And now I've got my information on, there we go, my information on the solds. Okay, so the similar listings, those were active on market or active under contract. If you don't want them, that's all right. Just don't pick any, move to your next spot. And now I'm going to go through and do a similar thing with these. Again, you guys could click to get more details. And then I'm going to hit next. Personalize my message. If it's only going to me, I don't really have to worry about it. This is if it's going to my client. I want to add their email and send a personalized message. I'm going to hit next, and then it's going to allow me to review what I've done and submit it. Now, here's the big change on HomeSnap. On Remind, right, we pulled that CMA, it opened on our screen, we could print it and go. Same thing on the mobile. HomeSnap, open it up. In both, I can work it, I can do it. The difference is on HomeSnap on my computer, it's going to email me my CMA, where if I'm on my phone, it's going to show it on my mobile screen. So those are the two differences. Either I can jump into my email right now, and hopefully I'm here, and there's my CMA right there. All right, so it's kind of up to what you're looking at. Hopefully you guys saw that and it didn't just go completely away. But either way, when you're in your email, it will be sitting there right there waiting for you. So those are the two Remind HomeSnap CMAs. Any questions on those? Does anybody have a Remind or a HomeSnap app that you guys use? Have you tried the CMAs before? Any thoughts on all of those? Okay.
We got a very lively bunch today, don't we?
I know. That's all right. That's okay. So we've only got one more quick CMA, or okay, I say quick, but RPR is not very quick. They are very in-depth, very knowledgeable CMAs, but we'll kind of go through those ones as well. And we will launch that right here. So now all of the products that we've done so far, Matrix, Remind, HomeSnap, those are MARIS membership ones. Those are ones you get simply by being a member. RPR is when you get simply because you're a realtor. You're a part of the National Association of Realtors, and they provide you with RPR. So when I come in here very first, and you guys will probably have your own logo up here at the top, we're going to follow what we've been doing with all the other ones, right? 710 Park Avenue in Belleville, and we're going to open it up. Now this one's a little interesting because there's kind of 3 ways you can refine a value in here. So right off the bat, you'll notice an AVM. AVM is an automated valuation model, which means that they took public records data to determine the value of this home. You can view the details to see exactly which properties they used in that valuation. And you'll notice that an AVM has a very low confidence score because generally all they have is public records data, or there wasn't enough data to pull. If you see an RVM, which is a realtor valuation model, that's going to give you a higher confidence score because it's not only using public records data, it's putting your MLS data on top of it. Now, there are other ways, more in-depth ways that it goes to both of those, but that's the very basic differences between an AVM and an RVM. So if I look at this AVM and I'm thinking, well, you know, for this property, they recently did this addition, but they have some adjustments they need to make. Before I even get to the comparable market analysis, I could refine the value. So I could say, hey, yeah, all the basic facts are good, they're fine. But my client recently the bathroom addition, and they created this in January of 2020 or March or April when everybody was going crazy because we didn't have anything else to do, right? And they spent $20,000 on that remodel. And now they're going to add that in, and it will give an adjustment based off that improvement. It does not give the full adjustment because, of course, that got depreciation and different values. You'll notice if I hover over the I, it's going to tell me they use Hanley Wood as the source for their housing development market data. So that's where these adjustment values come from. I could keep going and adding more. It's going to adjust it. I could also go in and say, hey, but there's some needed improvements. So I'm going to reduce that value by those needed improvements as well. And I can look at the market conditions, the home exterior also. So that's up to you. I did have one agent tell me, well, if I do this in front of my client, they're going to want to nitpick on everything. So not necessarily one you want to fill out with your client there, although it depends on the client, but it's a very fun's not the right word, an easy way for you to go through and actually create those changes and those values. All right, so that's that refinement. When you do it, it saves it there for you in your instance of RPR. So I'm not going to see it if you created a refined value for the property. Now there are two other ways, and that's the comp analysis report. And there are two. So the comparative analysis is going to say, hey, we're not going to do a lot of adjusting. All we're going to do in this comparative analysis is weight how like the subject property this value is, or this comp is. The sales comparison analysis is going to go almost appraiser level detail. It's going to have tons of boxes that you fill in to change those values. Both of them, no matter where you go, have 5 steps. So we're going to confirm the facts, making any changes that we need to. Oh, I don't even know. Sure. And we're going to confirm those facts and close. And then we're going to go search for our comps. I've got my statuses where I can add more. Remember, sometimes we're going to do pending to see where those current market ones are under contract. Sometimes we're going to do expired to see maybe what's priced out of the marketplace. Again, all up to you. We've got our last 6 months. We've got what values we want the system to search by, right, or compare against. And we've got our map. In RPR, this is a little different from your matrix, your remines. In those places, you search a mileage around it, right? In RPR, anything within this map view, it's going to accept as a possible comp. If you don't want that, you can create a custom area. You can draw a shape, just like we're used to with the radius. Or you can say, hey, I just want to be in the school district. Hey, I want to be in the neighborhood or the zip code, whichever one accurately fits that property. When you run that search, it's going to label them all at the bottom here. All right. If this had had an RVM, there would be stars next to the ones that RPR said was most like that property, okay, or the ones they used in their comparison. So you're going to go through and the same thing you did with all of them, look at the details, make sure that they fit, they look right, they match the subject property, and you're going to select those properties to be added over into your comp. Ooh, maybe I didn't want that one. That's okay. Once you do, they're going to kind of build over here, going to show you where your range is at right now, and then you're going to update that valuation and close. Then we're going to adjust our comps. So back to where we started with the comp analysis versus sales comparison. In comp analysis, remember I said we're just going to weight the property. We're going to say this is more like my subject, this is less. In the sales comparison, we're going to say I want to remove value here and add value here. This is where those diverge. So these first 2 steps are the same no matter which way you choose. The adjust comps piece is where in the first one, the comp analysis, we're going to say this 700 McClintock, it's a little bit better than my subject property, in which case it's going to adjust a value that it finds to make it match that subject. Same thing with these other two. I could say, oh, maybe this one is a little bit worse. Or, well, let's go this thing here. Maybe this one is a little bit worse, so it's going to give it a bigger value. Then at the bottom, I can say, here is why I made those adjustments. Now, if you want your client to see those, great, you can include those in your report. If you don't, you just uncheck it, and those stay just for your view so that you don't have to kind of talk through those. When you're all good there, you update that valuation and close. Then we're going to either look at our range and keep it that way or edit it so that we have our own range, and then create our report. Before I get into the create piece, let's take a quick look though. I'm going to have to scroll through these really fast. Oops. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull the comps over. So again, same two first steps. The difference again is that third step. Now you'll notice that there's not a weight bar anymore. Now there's a bunch of little boxes that let you adjust for value. So this is where you're getting way more into that appraiser style format than just kind of a normal CMA look at what's better or different. Okay. And these get really down to the nitty gritty, to the condition of the home, to the quality of construction, to the view factors, to the tenure. It's completely up to what you want to do. There's a lot of information. You can still add your notes in there, and you can weight the comps at the bottom. So this isn't the same weighting we saw before, right? That better or worse gave us an adjusted value. This one kind of does it, but in the terms that you're saying, this property is maybe a little more than that. Oh, did I? Yep. Hold on. Oh, okay. There you go. But basically, you're making that 100%, but you're weighting ones as more important than the others or more specific. Then you're just going to update that valuation and close. Same thing. We're going to look at our results. We're going to create our report. The one we just did, that appraiser style one, it's going to give you a valuation workbook. Both of these appear very long, so don't worry about that piece. This one is 37 pages. Okay. The other one is the seller's report, which is 75 pages. So that's a lot of information. You can go in and hide specific pages. Remember in Matrix, we had to kind of add them and build the report and come back if we didn't want them. The great thing about RPR is you can kind of hover over, decide if you like that, and remove the one you don't want. And I think finally they told me that it wasn't yet set to hold, that it's starting to hold those for people. So it used to be that it wouldn't hold, that you had to kind of go back in and remove the ones you didn't want. But it looks like possibly they're getting it to where it is sticking for agents. So that's awesome. All right, so you can go in there, you can view the sample, you can hide the details. Whenever you pick your report, you can then personalize it and choose to display it on your computer or email it to your client. You can CC yourself, you can not CC yourself. When you run the report though, it usually takes about 2 minutes to run those reports through RPR. Oh, this one even takes a little bit longer. It looks like it's 4 minutes, but it will give you kind of an estimate of time. And it's going to keep that up here at the top. It's also going to keep it over here and say, hey, we're working on this for you. One quick thing RPR told me, and I don't know why it stuck so well, but it did. When you're running an RPR report, when it builds, the doorbell rings on your computer. And for those of us with puppies who love to go crazy when the doorbell rings, you need a reason to turn that doorbell off. And that is right here just by clicking the bell. That will turn that doorbell noise on and off. So you can always have that one. Once it builds, there's a little plus sign. You can download it, share it on Facebook. The share on Facebook is really better for their school reports and their neighborhood reports, not necessarily a CMA, but I wanted to let you know it's there, and it does connect to Facebook Messenger. So if you're connecting with your client through that messenger instead, that's a good way to send it also. All right.
So I have a question.
Yes.
As we practice these, you can't break them, right? You can't break RPR. You can't break Remind.
Right. I've never found a button yet that broke any of the systems. If you find it, I would love to see it. So try and break it. I would be happy if you found it, because then it gives me something else to put in my presentations. So no, you can't break anything. They're meant to have buttons to click on, and just click on a button, see what it does. You might find something that works great for you.
Okay, and there's no right or wrong way to do a CMA,
Nope.
because we just showed there's 5 or 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways, right?
Right. Yep. As an agent, you're telling your story of that property. And however that works best for you is great. And that's what they're looking for, is that connection with you, the person, to explain to them what to do. So yeah, either one of these, use them together, use them separately. They're all there for you.
And guys, that's part of the reason that I love to have Randi Marie over when she does this with us, is it's an art. To do a CMA is kind of an art, and you're going to do it your way. I wish there was an absolute science to it, and based on the system that you use, you saw that she's went at it 2 or 3 different ways on 2 or 3 different systems. So
yep. Matter of fact, I just read a book called The Art of the CMA, and it was amazing. The differences that people have, and do you leave it with your client before you show up? Do you take it with you at the time? How do you present it? It's all about making your personality shine with what you choose to use. So absolutely.
great. Yeah, I wanted to make that point, that you can't break this. Just get in and wear it out. Pick a random address. I would, you can pick any address you want. Pick the one you live at.
Yeah, I was going to say, do your own. That's how I started. I did mine. I did my sister's. I did my parents'.
When we're teaching internal classes, when we teach the 30 days to be an agent, I give you guys my home address and tell you to do a CMA on my house. Just because we've done it so many times, we've got it so refined, we know to the dollar what my house is worth. And yeah, you guys, if you need a house and don't have one, call me and I'll give you mine.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
If you need another one, you can have mine. Yeah. And like Barry said, you can't break it. I mean, there was something recently that I did, and then I couldn't find it anymore. And I just emailed Randi Marie and said, "Where did it go? Help me." And she was like, "Oh, it's right here."
Yes. Yeah. We try and keep all that pretty handy for you. So it's absolutely, like I said, find a button that will break it. I would love to see it. It hasn't happened just yet.
Nope.
a great way to get listings, and I'll give you guys this hint sitting in this class, is to offer to do CMAs for people. When I'm doing an open house and all the nosy neighbors come in to see what the open house, because they want to see what their house is worth, you'll see that in a normal environment is the neighbors show up first because they want to see what the person selling the house did to improve their house, and they're trying to compare that house to theirs. And they're going to tell you how much better their house is than the one that you're holding the open house for. I offer a CMA. And because I have one on that open house, right? Because before you go do an open house, take a minute and just do a quick CMA on it. And you got Home Snap on your phone, hopefully. I'll tell them what their house is worth. And then I'll say, hey, let me go back and dig a little deeper. And if they allow it, and I will tell you it has happened, a couple of days later, I'm at that neighbor's house giving them satisfaction of knowing that their house was worth $500 more than the one that I had the open house for.
Nice.
Because I promise it's a little competition, and it gets you in front of a seller or potential seller, and you can have that relationship and then hopefully list the house.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for me, guys, unless you have other questions on Matrix or any of the systems I've shown. I really appreciate you guys letting me come out. Any questions I
Randy
can help
Marie,
with?
you are the bomb diggity.
Well, thank
It's
Love
being
you.
recorded, and I wanted everybody to know that.
you.
We
Awesome.
appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys also. All right.
Barry, I think everyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we can't see them. They're hiding.
Uh,
I'm still here. I'm awake.
Well, if you guys have questions, Randy Marie is available. I'm available. Sheila's available. That's what we're here for. We'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you guys, walk you back through if you need to. We have recorded this session, and this session will be up on our YouTube channel probably tomorrow morning. I'll have it up by tomorrow morning, and we will. It'll be there for you guys to view.
And there's past ones already recorded. If you need to watch another one right now, go back and watch past ones that have been recorded.
Yep. That's the whole purpose of this is us recording, so you guys have a framework to work from.
Yep.
And again, you got Randy Marie sitting right here on camera. You can ask her any question you want. We're still recording so that you're it's there for posterity purposes.
And for other people, you know, there's always someone who's watching the recording who is at work and couldn't be here with us right now, and they have the same questions. So if you ask the questions that are on your mind right now, they get the answers when they're sitting home. So you're helping other people.
yes, that's all she wrote.
Bueller?
So,
That sounds like it.
all right. Well, thank you
Thank
guys
you.
again. I
Thanks.
appreciate you
All
all.
right, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end this session. I just stopped recording.